Hi everyone, my name is John Mcluckie and I'm a hypnotherapist and I do Qhht sessions, and I'm a very blessed, very proud level 3 Qhht practitioner down here on the beautiful Gold Coast in Australia. And I'm just sharing this session. The client gracefully let me share this session, and it was a really fun session. It was about her, and she started off being an observer, and we worked out pretty quickly that she was on a different planet, and she was in the body as one of the, she called them an animal, but they were like a person. But from her perspective, they were more like an animal. And she said that I'm in an animal's body, but then she could hop out of the body as well. So we found out what her mission was for being there, which was really, really fascinating, because quite quickly in the piece I realized that I was actually not talking to her, I was talking to her higher self. So I could get a lot of information just by talking to her higher self. And we just explored a couple of different scenes, and one of them she was talking about, as you'll find out, she was talking about the Big Bang, and how the Big Bang was actually a split from another split, which was a split from another split. So she talks about how energy splits off, and that created our galaxy. And then how she wasn't, before that, she was, we explored that she was actually a planet before the splitting of this galaxy. And it was just her perspective on being a planet and what she did. And it was just such a beautiful session. So if you're into different planets or different galaxies, or the bigger part of the universe and life itself, then please feel free to listen to this. And like all my sessions, if you just close your eyes and just picture what she's talking about, it can make your journey a lot better, and you can actually get a lot of answers yourself just by listening to someone like this as session. And like everybody that listens to my YouTube channel, I haven't put any personal information here at all, so it's not a full session, because after it, when I stopped it, we started talking about her personal life and getting right into the nuts and bolts into her personal life and how to make it better, and getting her instructions on everything that she needs to know. So thank you so much for listening, and please, I'd really appreciate it if you press like and subscribe, or feel free to share it. I answer all my own comments, so if you want to pass on a comment, feel free to, and I'll answer it. So thank you so much and enjoy.
Yeah, I understand that. It sounds like they're pretty happy.
Yeah, they're really, really happy.
Yeah, beautiful. And just focus on yourself there. And do you feel like you have anything covering your feet there at all? I'm just curious.
No, I'm not wearing much either. It's really hard to describe our bodies. It's like they're human, but they're not human at the same time. Like, I'm the same, I am the exact same, I look the same as them.
As them?
Yeah. I came here because I like to watch them and be a part of something, but not in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Does it feel like you were ever in that tribe?
No.
Okay.
No.
It sounds like you enjoy it, and you get a lot of happiness just watching them.
Yeah. That's all I'm doing in this moment. Nothing else is changing, but I'm sitting and watching them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm filled with joy at that side. And then watching, it's almost like I'm watching them interact with the land around them, and there is a connection happening there too. So it's not just a connection between each other as a species, but there's a connection happening between everything around them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see how happy the air is to be touching them or around them. I can see how happy the trees are that they are there in the trees. I can see how happy the water is, even though they're not swimming in it. if that makes sense. Like I can see that everything is balanced and that everything is having an interaction, not just that species with each other. It's as though they respect
Each other.
Yeah, as another entity. They don't just think, oh, it's the land, it's lower than me or above me. They're the same, they're equal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice. And does it feel like you observe them for very long?
I feel like I observe them for enough time and then I go to be by myself. I don't join them, and where I go, they don't know where I live, but I live in amongst them, but they don't know where my house is.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm going to go home, when I go home when it feels like the moon is fully up now and they're still dancing, but I go home.
Let's see where your home is.
Oh, I go back into nature. Like it's almost as though I can just change my body and become the tree.
Wow.
I can change.
You can morph.
Yes, it's like then I can go back and experience that species as the tree too.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I want to get another perspective, I can go and be something else. Like I can become the water and watch from the water perspective, or from the air perspective. I just choose.
What do you enjoy doing?
I still enjoy being one of like what they look like and watching.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really. There's no hierarchy for me. I enjoy them all though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just having different perspectives.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I go home, I just went from that species and then I hopped into being a tree.
Yeah. What's it like being a tree?
I feel like it's very flexible and grounding at the same time, but I get sick of being a tree quicker than I do other things because I can't move much.
Oh.
And I like to be able to move. So I feel like I don't stay a tree very long.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel when I'm a tree, I'm not just one tree. It's like we're all... It's very easy to talk to the other trees if there's such thing. I don't think there's a way to talk to other trees, but it's like
How do they all communicate with each other?
through their roots. They don't communicate through the leaves. I just ask. They don't do that. It's hard to say that it's like, it doesn't feel like I'm communicating with something else though. It feels like I'm more communicating with myself as a tree to another. Like one tree's here and one's there, and if I want to speak to that one, it's almost like I move through the ground to become that one, rather than I speak to it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can move like that, but I like more the flexibility of being in body because it's a bit more freeing than having to move between the trees.
Yeah. What's it like being in the water?
It's actually quite lonely being in the water because I watch and I'm happy, but I know that I'll never get interaction from it feels like I want to say they're more like an animal. We don't get, as water, there's only observation, but you don't actually get interaction with them. So it feels lonely that way. But it's still good because I get to watch them, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like it's very flowy, but it's not the same as being able to have that interaction.
Yeah.
Like these animals will touch trees, but they don't touch the water.
Yeah. Do you ever go into an animal's body?
It's actually hard to see any other animals around me. It's really just the ones that we're watching. And I say animals, but I don't really know what to call them.
Yeah.
because it feels more human than anything, but there's still an animal side to them.
Yeah. Do you need anything for energy? Like to eat anything or to drink anything or anything like that?
No, I don't see myself ever eating or drinking.
So when you're out of the tree or out of the human body there, what form do you have?
No form. No, it's almost just, it happens so quick I don't really think about it.
Just
Yes. Yeah, it's a very quick transition. I'm not actually sure what even happens to the body of the animal when I go from animal to... It feels like I put it in a resting place or I don't know. Between, when I go between. Or it functions but doesn't have me there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it sound like you travel very far away from the village there?
I don't know. Where I live is still... It's almost like they can't access where I live because they can't actually see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are their thoughts on you then? What are their thoughts on you?
They're not afraid of me, but they never really go out of their way to interact with me, but I think that's because I put a barrier there more so than them putting a barrier up against me.
Okay. Why did you do that?
I don't want them to know too much about me. Maybe it's because I feel like they just won't understand. I don't think it's because I'm afraid, but it feels more like they just won't understand, and it would be just too much to try to explain it to them.
Yeah.
I actually don't feel I have the language to explain it to them.
Yeah,
Like
to communicate.
the language isn't broad enough.
Yours or theirs?
Theirs.
Yeah. And has it felt like you've been there for a long time in that area?
Yeah. Yes and no. Like, it feels like I'm quite new there, actually. In a way. And then there's other parts of me that I'm very torn on that answer.
Is it a yes and no?
It's a yes and no answer. It's hard to define that.
Yeah.
But I think there was someone else doing this role before me and I just came in. Is what it feels like. So they don't know that there's a difference energetically. They always just think it's the one thing that's been there for a long, long time.
Ah, right.
But that whoever was doing that before has left and I've stepped in now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What were you doing before this? Before you stepped into this?
I'm not seeing anything. It's just... I've been waiting to do that role for a while.
Yeah.
And it's very... I definitely don't feel like I was anywhere near them. It wasn't... I feel like they're on a planet and I'm just waiting, watching from above.
Yeah.
But not above as in the sky, above as in out of the planet.
Yeah.
Like I can see their planet. It doesn't... It's hard to describe.
Yeah. Did it feel like you were waiting there for a while?
It feels like I was sent to wait, and then it wasn't too long before. Yeah, and I just waited there. So that's where I'm at right now, is in that waiting between.
Yeah, it's like a waiting.
When it's time,
It's
yeah.
like a waiting space.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And what made you want to have that experience?
I wanted to see what other sort of beings were doing and how they were interacting. So I was there to see that connection between everything as one rather than separate. So I wanted to see where they were up to.
Yeah. It sounds like it's just a pure observation role.
Yes, that's what it feels like. It feels like I just get put here to be in that place as many different things so I can see exactly how they communicate with each other and with the land that they're living on.
Mm-hmm.
And how rich that is, and if they think that it's separate or not.
Yeah. And what's the purpose of doing your role and learning that?
So that we can figure out how we can have resources to bring that connection together.
Mm-hmm.
So if we understand why something is lacking a connection, maybe there's something we can do to help bring that connection in. But I don't know what we would do, and where I am right now I don't know, but it feels like we have to measure it first to know.
Yeah. Can you explain to me who's we? You said that we need to do this and we need to learn that.
It feels like I have people who are guiding. They're like masters of this knowledge, but then they report to someone else, but I don't know who they go to exactly.
Yeah.
And I've never asked. I'm always just happy because when I go and observe, I'm happy to do that. So it's never been, I don't ask too much because I'm enjoying to see, especially when I get somewhere and there's a lot of connection. When I see that, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go to many other planets as well?
Yeah.
What do you do on the other planets?
Same. It feels like I just go and see as the connection between the planet itself and the inhabitants of that planet.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're connecting in with that planet as a whole. There's a lot of planets that I see that they don't have any connection there, but then there's a lot that do. It's almost like they come on that planet, the ones that are really connected, they come on and that planet is like a part of them. They put their feet or whatever, it doesn't have to be feet, but they land in some way or another, and it's just recognized that they are just one. And it's like you put like a phone on charger and it's just like connects, and that's a source for them.
Yeah.
But then there's planets that don't ever connect, and then that's why we're finding out, why.
Which ones are and which ones aren't. And
Yeah.
And the why they're not and why they're not.
Yes, exactly, yes. Yes.
Well, I can understand why you're excited to go to this one.
Yes.
Sounds like they're doing it.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that. Very, very refreshing.
Yeah. What's it like for you on the other planets that you observe and they don't have that connection? What's it like
the planet,
for you, from your perspective?
The planet, when I get there, it's like I can feel in the planet that it's not happy. It's like the planet itself. It's spinning. I'm very spinning right now a lot. It's like the planet is disheartened or heavy because it's trying and it doesn't. It's not so much the people that feel it. Well, yes, they do, but they don't know it. But it's the planet that does.
Yeah.
It's like the planet that's just. It's like a flat phone. It's like something charge me. I need this, or I want this connection, but nothing's going in. So it's flat. It's running very flat.
Yeah. It's just down.
Yeah. It's
basically.
down. Yeah.
Mm. So, what do you do with all the information that you gather?
I come back and I seem to be just floating. I don't feel like I'm in anything when I come back. And it feels like I speak to... It's hard to even say who I speak to, but I know that they're receiving this, and this what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like it's a person, but I just speak it, and then they just absorb everything that it's not even that I speak it, it's more just I don't use words. It's like I connect in with them and they just download everything that I've seen or felt. They need to understand how I felt, because how I felt is how that planet felt. It's like I absorb all that the planet felt, and then I tell them, and then they take that somewhere to, I don't know, from there.
Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
And do you enjoy doing that role?
Yes, especially if the planet's happy. If the planet is really happy and it's like it's getting charged, then I do enjoy it.
Is there many of you that do that role?
Yes, there seems like many's like interpretive, but there seems like there's like maybe not many, like 10 of us that I can see.
Yeah.
10 of us.
Yeah.
And we all just...
It's just not one or two,
No, and we'll float around and then we get told where to go, and we could be there for however long is needed.
Do the 10 or so of you ever get together?
Yes, I can see a time when we were all together once. I can see us all together now. And we're all just... It's almost as though we're putting our hands... It feels like... We're just putting our hands onto something that's nothing. Like, I can't see anything, but I know there's a field there.
Yeah.
And we've all put our hands there and just received what we need, and we just know now. We know where we're going now.
Yeah.
So we're just all together. I don't have a body. It's just nothing. And I'm spinning, lots of spinning.
So, are the 10 of you like quite close?
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't often get to be like we are right now and all putting our hands on this thing.
Yeah.
This hasn't happened in a long time, and it's almost as though before we're receiving all the download or information, we're all just talking about our experiences recently over many years.
I was going to ask that, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys all talk about?
Yeah.
Communicate.
So I feel like I'm just telling them about where it just was, which was in that land where they didn't go in the water. And we're kind of just sharing about, and I feel like very, very at home here. Like, it just makes me, it's like a reminder that it was beautiful and I was having a good time where I was, but I was actually a little lonely. But when I'm back with these people, I'm very happy again.
Yeah.
Very, very happy.
Mm-hmm.
That to see them all, and some of them sound like they went to good places, and some of them said that it was challenging.
Yeah.
But this time together is really nice for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it feel like, so if it sounds like that's your home base there?
It might be, but there just isn't anything around. I know I can feel everything that I'm with, and it's very nice. Like, I'm very happy, but I'm happy because I'm with them.
Yeah.
It feels like we don't really have homes. It feels like we just constantly go and settle into a new place all the time. So
it sounds like you constantly go on missions.
Yeah.
Every now and then you sort of can get together.
It's almost as though when we are together, that's what home feels like. That's what home is.
Yeah.
It's like we create the home together. So we could be anywhere, but we're not home until we're together.
Yes.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about the others there. What are they like?
The other 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very gentle and they're very like, I feel like crying because it's so nice. It's like they really understand. It's like, because it's really hard to explain it to anyone else that where we're from, like, and we don't get to be part of it.
Yeah.
So when we get together, it's really nice.
Yeah, it'd be really special. Yeah. I'd imagine there'll be some pretty strange stories and some pretty funny ones.
Yes. Yes, it's really nice. And it's nice because it doesn't feel like we have to use words, because there isn't that, like, it's like just touch or and everything is exchanged in one go, and that's when all the emotions come up, and then the good and the bad, and or I say emotions, but it's more just sharing.
It sounds like a sharing of adventures and stories.
Yes. And some of them have planets or places they want to go, and some of them sound like they need a little bit more time just resting. So we're all there together until we feel well enough, and everyone feels strong enough. It doesn't sound like 3 of us will go if one of us is not feeling strong enough yet. It's like we recharge as a group.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like you're very tight.
Yeah, very supportive.
Yeah. Do you have any when you're on a mission? Do you have any communication with any of the other team members, or is it just a sole mission kind of thing?
It feels like we can. It feels like I have that option. It feels more so as in we do it when everybody can do it, which isn't often. Because there's times where one might be needed, but it doesn't seem like we would do it if only a few of us could. It's almost as though all of us have to be able to.
Yeah. As
a group, it doesn't feel like, if I wanted to just connect with one, I couldn't. Even if I'm doing my mission and everyone's doing their missions, it feels more there's a divine alignment, and then we all could communicate, but it would be like an echo rather than
than a direct connection.
Like we don't leave where we're from.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when I said I took over, it was almost like that person was ready to go on, and they're part of this group too. And then I came and took over their spot. So we shuffle around so that we can add colour to the final pieces, because we all have different perspectives.
Yeah.
In a way.
Do you all have different qualities? Kind of thing?
I guess the main thing is we're still trying to observe the facts or the connection. But we all see that connection slightly different, whether it's, when I say I can see those, going back to those animals or things, when I see them touch something, I can see an exchange actually happening. And the way I see that exchange, I might see like a colour, or I might feel something in my hands, whatever. Everyone has that, the senses of how that connection happens is different.
Yeah.
So I might see different colour, but nonetheless we're both seeing that or feeling or whatever that connection, but it's just different between us.
Yeah.
So that's actually why it's really important that we shuffle, so that we're getting all pieces of the information, because if someone's only feeling, then they're not getting the visual. I don't know, it feels like we're all very different.
Yeah. Do you have any more favourite planets than other planets?
Yes. When there's a memory coming up. There's a planet that feels very, very connected when I go there, but it's almost like it's a planet of water. and the water is as light as the wind, but it's definitely water.
Yeah.
And I like going there because the water is so good at connecting things. It's almost as if you have a tree in this water or something in this water, it can connect to the animal, but they don't actually have to touch because the water does that.
The water's the connector.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're very in harmony and in sync, but then in the other place there has to be that physical.
Yeah.
And the planet likes that. It was a very, I describe it as very bubbly and very happy and very. I didn't spend long there because I knew how good it was, how happy it was. Yeah.
It sounds like it was traveling pretty well.
Yes, it was like we all talk about that one.
That's everyone's favourite?
Yes. Yes.
So no problems there, man.
So we don't want to leave it, but we all have to share it so that we can all, for the people or the ones of us who are having a hard time, they can go there so that they can be reminded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about some planets that you don't really like? Or that are really sort of struggling?
Yes, there are some planets that are struggling. And it's just so like heavy. It feels like when you get there it's a feeling of heaviness and nothing really grows there. It's bare because nothing can grow because it's so flat. And there are things that are surviving there, but they're not thriving. They're just living. And because the planet is so flat, the inhabitants are so flat. And I remember, from what I remember, when I went to those planets, or this particular one, I didn't make myself a home because I didn't want to be there very long.
Yeah.
I just observed from very, very far away. They didn't know of my existence at all.
Yeah.
And it's just, I didn't become part of it. I really, other planets I do. I want to make home there and really actually.
See it from the end.
Yeah,
Feel it
but
from
this
the
one
inside.
I just watch from very far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very, just so disconnected. There's not much life on there. I can see.
Sounds like it's pretty barren.
Yeah, there's really nothing really happening. Even the wind is stale.
Yeah.
If you could say there's wind there.
Yeah. So how many planets do you actually go and visit?
Heaps. Heaps of them. Yeah. There's so many. It's so strange to think that there's only 10 of us. But it feels like I visit heaps, but there's still a zone. And there are more of us, like the 10 of us, but they're in different zones.
Different zones.
Yeah, and I haven't been in another zone before.
Yeah.
But I know of them and I know of the stories because it seems like very, very rarely we do meet them. But more the person the master person that we go to report this information, they know more about the other zones because they can travel between zones.
Yeah.
And they've done all the zones to be where they are.
I see.
Yeah. That's what it feels like when I'm in their presence. And we can ask them questions and they will give us some answers, but they're really focused at the same time on our zone because that's their gardening. What's the word?
Guardian?
Yes, they're guardians of that zone. So they don't want to get too caught up in talking about other zones.
Yeah.
But we learn from other zones too.
Like what?
We learn. In other zones, it seems like the groups actually go in more higher numbers. They don't go solo.
Mm-hmm.
So because their groups do that, they make greater impact, but on less planets at once.
Yeah.
when I say impact, it's not like they're making an impact, but they make greater observations, so they can complete a planet very quick, whereas we have to have a few people go through before we complete a full observation of that planet.
Yeah.
But it's still the same time thing, because they're not, it's just a different way to do
It's
it.
just a different way to do it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
And
let's do
there's-
this.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
There's other zones too that they have a totally different method, but it doesn't seem like I'm going to find out what their methods are right now. Like I can't see what their methods will be. They won't tell me that.
Well, let's do this. Let's move to an important day in that life that we're watching here. So let's move to an important day when something's happening. Yeah.
It's our master seems to have just gotten back from communicating with other zones.
Mm-hmm.
There's two of them, I believe,
Yeah.
and they're excited, but you can tell they're very nervous, very, very nervous, because they've decided to send all 10 of us into one planet,
Mm-hmm.
which they're worried about the other planets, but they also they noticed that other zones have done that, and it's been effective to get information as quickly as possible, so that because when we're all on other planets, it's hard for us to all come out and communicate.
Yeah.
So if we're all on the one, there's a way for us to communicate much more effectively, so that we can go straight to the master and they can make stuff happen much quicker. Yeah, so this is very, very rapid, but
Sounds like it's a condensed effort.
yes, but no other zone have sent all of their 10 or however they've been given. They've never done all of them. They've always done either different amounts, but not all of them at once.
Yeah.
So they just want to send all of us at once onto this one zone.
Is that why they're a little bit nervous?
Yes, they don't know how it's going to go, and even I feel a bit nervous in my body about it. Like my heart rate feels a bit faster, and especially because if this planet needs all 10 of us, then that's concerning.
Do they tell you much information about the planet? Or what it needs, or?
They say that the planet is doing well enough. It's still growing, it's not barren.
Yeah.
But it's on the trajectory if we don't speed. Like as in, we just don't want that to happen, because we've seen it happen and it's very heavy. So they want to send us in while it's still good, while there's still a lot of good happening.
Yeah. So what's their plan with you, with the 10 of you then?
They plan to... Seems like they're sending us in one by one, not all at once, but we will all be there across the same time.
Yeah.
That's the plan. And it's hard to see. It doesn't actually seem like they're sending us all in one spot at once either.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Yes. I'm just trying to see it. It feels like we are quite spread out, and it feels very randomized how we're all going in, and it's feeling like it seems so easy. It seems like we're just going to get there and we're going to meet, but I have hesitations because I don't think I've been there before. And it's not easy.
What was your experience of it like before?
seeing. Well, before it seems like I stayed. It feels like I had an animal body again of form, but I didn't like being in the animal body. Like last time, I actually enjoyed being in the animal body quite lots. But this one, it feels like I don't enjoy it as much. So it feels like it feels like it's an earth, but very, very primitive. Like very, 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 very old. Like it's hard to describe. It's very simple at this time. What I'm trying to think of when I was there in this time.
So when you're going back, so let's just get back to that mission. When you're going down there, is there an order that you're all going in, or? It feels randomized. It feels like, from what I just saw, the sixth person, the sixth soul, the sixth one to go down. Yeah.
There were 4 others after me.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Some of them are close, and some of them are very far apart.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it generally feels like they just went one by one.
Yeah.
They didn't just do it all at once. Maybe because they wanted age differences, or maybe because they needed specific opportunities and that's just when they came up.
Yeah.
It's not very clear.
So what's your specific role?
It feels very visual. It feels like, again, observing. And because when I remember going into the other places, I could very much so see connection, but when I spoke to others, it was very much different. So it feels very visual to come back down.
Yeah.
And to connect. It feels like also when we come onto these planets, we observe the connection, but we do help provide. It's like the little adapter thing that you buy between a charger and a phone, and you just didn't get the right one, so you just get that little adapter.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that.
Yeah.
If it's not too late.
Yeah.
And whether we do that with whatever, it doesn't matter. It's whether it's with elements or it doesn't. Yeah, it's not really relevant. It's just that by being connected to, other people can also use that to connect in. Like I'm there, and then people who contact us or are in this field, they can connect straight in to this planet and charge it too.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, it's like it can get that charging happening, but once they've done that, they walk away and they are always going to reconnect and charge.
Yeah.
And charge and charge. And some people are already doing that. When we're here, some things are already doing that, but some things just need that adapter.
Yeah.
To kickstart the charging.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking humans, I am talking plants too.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like there's a lot of... It's just the reminder that everything isn't one ecosystem and that's not separate.
Yeah.
And we just need to be there to help them charge.
Yeah.
Help the actual core charge.
So do you get much of a say in where you go, or which bodies you go into, or anything?
I want to
like that?
say yes, but also it's a group thing. It really is. It's depends on, like, as in we get option, but if I know that there's another soul spirit that's really run down, then I would happily say, you take this planet and I'll take this instead because I'm feeling strong.
Yeah.
it depends on how charged we are, and we do that as a group. So
Yeah.
there's choice, but we all help each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounds like there's real good sort of compromise and negotiation.
Yes, yeah, because there's been times where I've been very weak, and then I've been given a planet that's
Really nice.
easier. Yeah.
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 Beautiful.
Mm.
And how does everybody feel about all 10 of you being at the same planet at once?
Everyone loves the idea,
Just a bit apprehensive.
but I think because I think all of us have spent some time there, so we know that it's not actually going to be as easy as we want it to be. Like we're actually trying to describe to the masters that it's not. We don't think it would be that simple. As much as we're excited to hang out or be as a group, that it wouldn't be as simple as the master. Because I think the masters hasn't been to that place in so long. They may have not forgotten, but it's not fresh. But some of us have just come from that place, and they know it's not as simple as we might like to think. Yeah. But we're hopeful. Like, the idea that we could connect is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the masters hoping for the 10 to achieve?
Just to get a full observation of everything really quick, so that we can send that information and then get more whatever help we need quicker.
Yeah.
So it feels like I really observe and if we can use that adapting skill to help raise the connection as well. It feels like there's two roles there. And yes, by observing, but then we can also be that, I'm just going to keep using the word adapter.
Yeah.
For others around to connect in as well.
Yeah.
And I get this really strong feeling that it's working very, very well. Very, very well.
Well, let's do this. To another important day, and something else is happening.
Feels like I feel like one. I don't feel very separate. Very one. And there's nothing. And it's dark but full of life at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Energetically. So how I describe it is, feels like there's lots of beings but in the one. It doesn't feel like it's just me, but there's just one thing. And
what does it feel like being there?
very whole, very eager, because there's a split happening, but like lots of fragments, but it hasn't happened yet. But it's just very warm. It's like a seed before it's, it's all warm and it's got all it needs to be nurtured and everything, but it hasn't split off yet. Nothing's split off.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, because it's very, there's anticipation for the opportunity to split off, but many splits, not just lots and lots of splits happening.
Mm-hmm.
But this safety net feels good.
What's the purpose of it splitting off?
To go and feels like to go and create little mini planets or something, they're only little. Maybe, I don't really know what they're splitting off, but it also feels like I just went out and watched it from an observation. I wasn't part of it just now. Like, I got to see the splits happening.
What was that like?
Oh,
to
there was
watch it?
excitement everywhere. All the little splits are like, yes, like, but they were so happy. They weren't unhappy before. But all the little splits are just going off. This has happened before, but in other places. So this is just happening now in this place. And it's very exciting to watch all the splits go.
Mhm.
But I'm definitely not a split myself. I'm just watching them. And some of them, the little fragments, they seem like they're getting a bit of guidance from each other. They can still communicate, and then they're just evolving and growing. Yeah. But they're all very connected energetically,
Yeah.
in a way.
And some of them can still talk to each other.
Yes, yeah, but eventually it'll be harder for them to talk to each other. And when I say talk, I don't mean with words. I just mean like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just communicate.
Yeah, and they're just doing what gets done all the time. So this isn't a new phenomenon, but it's like they gathered all the energy, and then they were ready. They were fully nurtured, womb state, and then they just split.
Just went bang.
Yeah, they did, and they're all very, very happy and excited to be.
Mm.
I guess it's just because they get to express in a different way, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said this isn't the first time that this happened.
No.
There's been others, yeah?
Yeah, there's been many other splits like this. And I don't know where the energy ball came from in the first place, or so I think that it split from something else a long time ago, but that's too far for me to know right now. But that split then split. That's a very weird thing to think about, but there's lots of splits.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just there to have their own life.
So what is each split? Is it like a galaxy or a
yes, that's what it
something?
feels like, a little mini galaxy. And that's what I mean when I say there's been many splits before. So this is just the formation of another split.
Yeah.
And they're all tied by that. It's almost like when I said those zones, it's a formation of a zone.
Yeah.
And that's where I've gone back to before the zone I was observing happened. And I'm still observing. I'm still not a split myself. But that's where my master was appointed this zone from that big split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and they all started the same, so it's really interesting to see how they all just formed so differently.
Yeah, it sounds like, and that bang there.
Yes.
You were part of that split. But
yes.
you weren't a planner. You just popped out and observed.
I did. Yes. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just popped out.
It sounds like your role as an observer of those other planets, and that's kind of your zone.
Yes, it's like I got given that zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe I get this feeling that I had to be... It's hard to understand the energy or the density of a planet if you didn't have experience not being one, but there's something there that I learnt before to know how to read how the planet is. I don't know what I did before.
I don't know. Let's go and have a look.
I go back to before I was observing the...
Yeah.
It feels like my body is like... It feels like... I'm just going to describe it the best way I know how.
Yeah.
It feels like... like I'm a petri dish or something and everything's just growing in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm the right... You know the jelly stuff in a petri dish in science?
Yeah.
And you just put anything in there and it grows.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything. You can put a bacteria in there or whatever. My point is that there's a foundation that I am, and even right now it feels like everything is just growing out of my skin. And it feels very odd. I can't describe how this feels. It feels very I don't have to do anything. It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, very, very weird.
And what else is going on around you?
Like I can feel the things growing, and anything that's there, I feel it all. It should be very overwhelming, but I'm not overwhelmed. It's not overwhelming in this body, but it's because I'm trying to feel it, but at the same time it's not overwhelming because my outside feels the guidance I get around me, but my inside is having a whole other
experience.
Yes.
What's the inside feeling?
It feels fertile, like there's a lot of growth happening, but it also doesn't feel like I have that much control. I'm actually learning a lot about letting go. But also there's control on the outside, but there's not control on the inside.
Yeah.
Which feels very opposite to what my mind wants to say. Like it feels like it should be the opposite way, but it feels like everything else on the outside is very, timing and controlled and guided, and I feel safe on the outside, but it's not that I don't feel safe on the inside of my body, but it feels very...
It's just different.
Yeah. Like I have to just allow, because in order to fulfill what I'm being told on the outside, I need to allow things to happen on the inside and provide for the inside. It's like comparatively, a human body has to eat right and whatever to keep the insides good, but the outside's different.
So how did you get in the petri dish?
Well, no, I wasn't in a petri dish at all. I was using that as
just as an analogy?
Yes, and as an analogy that anything can grow. It feels like the inner layer of my being, anything can grow.
Yeah. Does it feel like you grow much?
That what, sorry?
Does it feel like you grow much? Like big or small, or into a shape or a form? Or...
Ooh. I start off very small, and then I grow. It feels like I actually was the split, but I'm not observing now. It does definitely, it feels like I'm more a little seed just growing, and everything around me is trying to give me all this nurturing for my insides, but how the insides come about, it's not, I'm not told that. I just have to allow.
What do you grow into?
It just feels like my body is like a planet of a sort. And that's so old. And yeah, it's actually quite, it's good if you're someone who can, or something who can just allow, but it has challenges in that same aspect. And you're very proud. Not proud in, you're just very like content. It's hard because it doesn't feel like there's too many emotions at the same time. It's like I'm trying to interpret an emotion, but there's not really one there. And
let's look for an important day as that planet. Let's see what happens as the planet there.
Oh yeah, okay. It's very harmonious. and it feels very special. I'll just describe what I see. It's like, again, like there's communities and there's laughter, and it's just, they're definitely not human. They're tiny, and they're just living in there, and they're just, it's like they all live very independently, and they're so free and happy, and I feel like I'm very content with how things happened here.
Yeah.
And I just, it feels like I'm leaving it though. Like, I don't understand how that happens, and I know that it doesn't feel like I want to go necessarily, but it feels like I'm also being called just to do something else.
Let's see what happens.
Okay. It feels like I'm having an out-of-body experience, but out-of-planet experience.
Yeah. So you sort of pop out of the planet there?
Yeah.
The body there?
However, I was a part of that planet. I don't know, but like it feels like very just, that felt like it was my body in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm just leaving it.
Yeah.
But I know I know that whatever's next, they've just said well done. Like there's a celebration there of life, really,
Like an achievement.
Yeah, it's almost like a custodianship of bodies being happening, and yeah, and that feels like I'm going completely out of that zone now. Well,
Yeah.
no. Yes and no, like I'm out of that zone and I'm just somewhere else, just to be, and I'm just at great peace. I'm a bit sad, but not really.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, and
What do you feel like there's to do where you are when you left that body there?
this is when I feel like I'm going into observe now.
Yeah.
I think it was because that planet was good,
Yeah.
and they're just saying, okay, maybe this could be helpful for some other planets to where it feels like there's no one's blaming anyone, no one's angry, no one's nothing. It's just like, oh, something happened here and we're just trying to help each other out.
Yeah.
Maybe someone came and helped me out along the way too. And that's why everyone was so happy there, because I got help too.
Yeah.
But it's time to become a helper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
I feel, I guess maybe, feel excited, but it feels like I didn't understand exactly how big that would feel at the same time. Like I was excited, but I'm laughing at myself, at my old self for being excited at the same time. Like, because things were pretty good before, but they're still good now, but they're just different.
It's just different,
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this, okay? Let's just drift away from that life. But can I ask why? Why did you show her that particular experience?
Yes, I wanted to show her that she's here to do the same thing she's done in other planets, just to observe but connect in, and she's already doing that, connecting in, allowing other people to connect in in the most simple ways. Yeah. And that there are other people here for her to that are doing the same thing. So it can feel lonely.
Yeah.
But it's not. And the best thing really here is to just know that the family is there, that they are really there, and to not forget that.
Yeah. It sounded to me like when there was 10 of them, and they were coming down all on the same mission at the same time. That sounded like that was coming to Earth, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super cool. Are all 10 of them on Earth at the moment?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
They all made it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Cool. What a cool mission.
Yes. Yes. And it doesn't feel... She hasn't met them yet, though.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they were saying. That's what she was saying. Like, they're going to be spread out and they can't all go into the same place together.
No. They're supposed to meet, but they do in other ways. Their meeting in physical form, we want to happen, but it's not. If not, it doesn't mean that there's no connection.
Yeah. That's what they're a little bit apprehensive about.
Yes. Yes. Which it has been more difficult than we had hoped.
I guess with the other planet, if they know they're going alone, well then they know they're alone.
Yes, yes,
Which
yes.
can, in one way, can make it easier.
Yes, 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 yes. But the information is coming through much faster than ever before.
Yeah.
Because of the collective group.
Yeah.
It's just when they do find each other, they will know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why did the Masters want all 10 of them to come down here at once?
Because they all have a different way of connecting in and allowing others to connect in.
Yeah.
So...
It sounded like it was a bit of an urgent...
Yes, yes. So some can connect others in a way that's not going to work for all. And right now, because there's a lot of separateness, by having different ways to connect in, then we can maximize that connection in.
Yeah.
And where we send each one is where it might be most beneficial for, say, that culture, or that what might feel a bit more normal or easier or gentle for where they are to connect in.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like I'm going to call them the team, the team 10. It seems like they were very compassionate and very caring and very nurturing, especially with each other.
Yes, yes, with each other, yes, yes, yes.
It sounded like they had a lot of respect for each other.
Yes, yes. At one point, they were 1, 2, and they split 2.
Yeah.
So when they help one, they're helping all.
Yes. She put in the hard yards because she was actually the planet. That sounds like a pretty cool experience.
Yes. Feels like the group was the planet, and then the group.
I see.
So
yes.
one fragment of the group, which was once planet as a whole.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah. So they were kind of a whole then
Yes.
in the planet, and then when they came out, they split off to be observers.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means that the whole 10 are really one.
Yes.
But there's different fragments.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, awesome.
Yes.
That's super cool.
Yes. Yes.
Now, can I ask, next to Earth, sometimes she speaks that language. What's going on there?
When there's a ability to know the planet, because as a group they were one. So when on other planets you can connect in and speak what you feel comes through as that planet. It's hard to put words.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it feels very speaking Earth language, because Earth is a being too.
Yes.
And the other fragments would also know this too.
Yeah.
This language. This. Yes.
That's super cool.
Mm.
So is she connecting it into the Earth when she's doing that?
Yes, just to understand exactly what that. It's another
What's
way
going
to
on
observe. Yes. Also to, I guess, to calm that planet as well. Or if that planet feels disconnected, it's nice to remind it that it is still connected.
I see. Yeah.
Because if it's running flat and needs charge, then it needs something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Beautiful. And how do the masters feel like the mission's going?
Well, very well. They're very, very pleased. The masters also know that it's not just this group either. There's many others doing different types of work.
Yeah.
So it's not just to pay contribution to us as a group, but many other many things, and it's all working very, very well. Very well. Yes.
Awesome. Super cool.
Yes, there's charges. It's being charged. It's very charged.
How do you feel it's going with your mission?
Very well now. Very well now. It seems that she knows how to connect in now.
Yeah.
And teach others to connect in. Best way by doing it herself.
Yeah.
And also she comes across what the word you use is portals, and protects them too, so or shows them to the right people in a way.
Yeah.
Don't know if she's fully aware that she's doing that, but
she can be now.
Yes.
Now she's got some very human questions down here compared to where she's been to.
Yes, I think she definitely understands now why she's here, and she's reconnected back into her mission.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, do you mind just going through your body there and seeing if everything's in balance and harmony, or if anything's slightly off?
It is now.
That's all pretty good now?
Yes.
Beautiful. Now that's all your questions covered, so thanks so much for that. Is there anything else that you want to tell her that you feel is important at the moment?
She's definitely spent time before on Earth, and there's a connection there, like a sisterhood of understanding and seeing potential and knowing. It's like they're friends. And to just keep going, because to keep building that connection and speaking and charging and showing others how to charge, because it will make a difference even if it feels small.
Yeah. It's actually quite a big contribution.
But it's going back to the main lesson learnt before, is allowing.
Yeah.
There's an element of trying to control, but there's so much that we don't want her to be here to try and control or to lead anyone or to, it's more to just observe and just be a gentle presence and lead from the back. It's not intended to be a strong figure as such, but rather than strong, but gentle and tuned in.
Yeah. And how's she going to feel after this?
Rebalanced and on purpose.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Is there anything else? Is there anything that the masters want to say?
They really want to connect the group, but set intentions for sleep to connect to the group.
Yep.
Or during meditations. Now that you know there's a group, set an intention to connect with them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It's a different way of connecting.
Yes.
So how does she connect with you and the masters just by herself, so then she doesn't need someone like me?
She can connect through meditation, but also creativity. Creativity. The more creative expression. We are speaking through her creative expression, through her visuals. So when she sees visuals, that is us sending her the visuals. And then creating that will help put it into something more tangible. But there's one thing to meditate, connect, but the moment that you are in a creative space, we will connect.
Yes. There's lots of different ways to connect.
Yes. Dance, paint, cook, we'll connect.
Awesome.
Just connect to Earth through grounding, but connect to us through expression and creativity. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for today.
Yes, thank you.
It's been so much fun.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Is there a final parting message that you want to give to her?
Just thank you. Keep going. Don't get caught up in the how.
Just do.
Yes. And thank you for your work.
Pleasure. Pleasure. It's so much fun for me.